Dale, whenever.
Alright.
Alright.
So this segment of Freak John Radio on freakjohn.com is with a good friend of mine named Spot. And we're going to be asking him some questions. State your name.
Hi everyone, I'm Spot. Nice to meet you.
Okay. And what is your pup name?
My full pup name is Spot Decay. I took the Decay from my sir's surname. My sir is also my handler. Often in pup play you'll find that a pup usually has someone that they are subordinate to. A handler or a trainer. Most times I just call him sir. So it's good.
Got you. That kind of leads me into my next question. What is pup play? For someone who has no idea what this is.
Exactly. Pup play is a subset of the leather community. It's a BDSM type of situation where the pup is subordinate to their handler or their sir. So the person that is the pup takes on the role of a puppy, a human pup. A lot of times you will see that they wear gear, that they have like a hood or a mask. Most times it's called a hood. It's a way to just express a personality that's different from their human self. So they really try to get into the headspace of being an actual pup.
Gotcha. Okay, and then that leads to the next question. So, to give people an idea, it's very similar, it seems like, to Dom and Sub.
It is.
Okay, and
yeah.
it's, like you said, it's in the leather community.
Yes, a subset of the leather BDSM community. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then, yeah, like I said, following question would be, like, who's actively participating in pup play? A little research that I did was that it is prevalent in the gay community, but it seems like this can also be applied to the straight community as well. It
is, because it's a sub-dom relationship. You see it kind of across the board in people that are into the leather community, into BDSM, dominatrix, subordinates. You see that a lot there. Mainly in the world, you see a very large population of pups in Australia.
Okay.
I often refer to Australia as the motherland of pup play because it's so prevalent. Europe definitely has a lot of pup play. You don't see it so much in the States, although it's starting to grow.
Okay.
Here in Miami, it's almost non-existent.
Gotcha.
I always say that I'm the only pup of Wynwood because I really haven't met any other pups. In Fort Lauderdale, there is a pup community. It's small but growing. I don't know many people from that community, a couple, but we're growing.
And with my research, I've seen it's kind of prevalent in Seattle. Seattle has a large pup community.
Oh, interesting.
They have pup conventions. So then you might want to check out.
Yeah, conventions, definitely.
If you ever get any time to go to Seattle. I'm trying to go myself. I've been to Cali a couple of times. So who are you before you go into pup play? Because like I said, with my research, I've seen that it is like, you know, a personality trait outside of, you know, when you come home from work or what do you do? So if outside of the pup world, who would you identify as? Like, what do you do?
Outside of the pup world, what do I do? I'm kind of a jack of all trades kind of person. Visual artist, I'm a poet. I've done a lot of work with customer service. I also have a degree in massage therapy. And I'm just kind of a goofy guy, honestly. Kind of a geek. Definitely into anime and pretty easygoing.
Okay.
You know, kind of reserved sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when were you first introduced to pup play life?
Well, it started about a year ago, because I've been a pup for a year. I was dating a good friend now, and we were at his house, and his roommate, who later became my sir, we were at around the dinner table, and Sir brought up, oh, do you know about pup play, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I mean, I've seen it once or twice, going through, like, fetish porn, the community. And he was like, well, if you were a pup, what would your pup name be? I was like, Spot, duh, because I have vitiligo. So I have a lot of spots.
Wow, okay.
So, and having vitiligo has always been something that's been empowering to me because I find my spots beautiful. Like, the lack of melanin really lends itself to interesting patterns, and people are like, oh, that's interesting. So it was instantaneous. It's like, it'd be Spot, hello, because I have spots.
Got you. And that goes back to your humor, like you're able to...
Yeah, I'm really goofy. And it just kind of progressed from there. At first it was kind of a joke. And, you know, I remember the guy that I was dating at the time said, if you become his pup, then we'll never date again. And I was like, oh, don't worry, that's not going to happen. But then Sir kind of kept asking me and encouraging me to explore And then I thought, you know what? Why not just give it a chance? Like, I'm willing to try new things. This could be a good thing for me, an outlet of some sort. I remember in my early 20s, I did a lot of drag. And it was very liberating. It was a very good way to express my artistic nature, and my performance nature. But now that I'm older, I really just don't feel like the hassle of getting into drag. The makeup, the expensive wigs and clothing. And I thought pup play could be a different venue for that, where I could really find that artistic nature to be able to express itself as performance. I mean, not that it's much cheaper, but I don't have to suffer through beating a face full of makeup and then showering all that off at the end of the night. You know, it's really easy. You put on a hood and you go.
And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to interview you, was because in the stripper community, that is something that we have to deal with as well. Making a full face of makeup, eyelashes, wigs, so I understand that. So after you met Sir, and after you were kind of like playing with the idea, when did you actually decide to become a full-on pup? Do you remember the day, or or was it just like kind of slowly, gradually, like how was it?
It was kind of a gradual build. As I became more comfortable with it, the first time I actually was out in a collar that had my dog tag with my name on it was for Pride last year in Fort Lauderdale. So I marched right after the Pulse massacre. It was a moment of solidarity for everyone, and I thought, if ever I was to do it, now's the time. Let the freak flag fly. It's like, I will not be ashamed of who I am. I will not be ashamed to express myself, so now's the time. So it was the first time in the collar. I didn't have the full gear, because I was still really new, but it was really liberating.
I was going to say, how did that feel to wear a collar?
It was really, I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected I would. The collar, and then I had a leash as well. So
was that attached with your Sir?
Yeah. So my Sir was holding the leash, and we got walked around through Pride, and just seeing the reactions of people being very supportive and really about it. They were like, yes, yes, and I was like, oh, okay. It was really empowering, and I thought this is something that I could really investigate in more depth. So from there, it has progressed.
And then, when do you normally go out in pup play gear? Like, you go out for, when are you comfortable to wear it?
Honestly, if I'm in gear, I'm pretty comfortable with the whole wherever I am. Most times we do tend to go to more queer or gay-oriented events. So gay clubs, parades, drag shows, definitely. Where it's a lot easier to be accepted however you show up. I've had experiences just out walking around in Fort Lauderdale. People are always like, oh, can I take your picture? Can I take your picture? And it's really fun. I don't think I've ever encountered a negative response to being in gear.
Do you think that's because, like you said, dom and sub relationships are already kind of known in the straight community, in a lot of different communities, so people kind of see it as that when they see you? Or do you think it's just because people are actually curious?
I think there is an understanding, even if it's on like a base level where they know that, okay, this person is subordinate to this other person, obviously because he's being led around on a leash, or, he's in gear, or they look like they belong together. Like, you can tell just from seeing that there's something going on here. I lost my train of thought.
Want me to ask you another question?
Okay.
If you come back to it, you can always, come and say that. So you said, one of my questions is where were you introduced to pup play, but you kind of answered that, as far as meeting somebody who was already a master and just kind of letting you know what it was about. Then you kind of answered this one too, where do you decide to go out and pup play? So like you said, it's mainly geared towards different events.
Yeah, like I say, I try to keep it to an event nature. Oftentimes, especially on my Instagram, I hashtag myself as a show pup. Because my Sir is also a drag queen.
Oh, wow.
And there have been many times when I've had the privilege of being on stage with Sir as part of his act. I remember the first show we did was at Double Stubble at Gramps.
I know Double Stubble.
Yeah, shout out.
Yes.
And my first show I was in pup gear, and then Sir flogged me on stage as part of his act.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
And before that, I had been flogged previously, so it's an enjoyable experience. It's not painful. Many people think it is. It looks painful, but it's definitely not.
True.
So it's fun. And then
What is flogging?
flogging is a subset of BDSM. It's part of percussion play. So a flogger is kind of like a cat and nine tails. So it's usually a wooden handle with a lot of leather strips attached to it, and you just get hit.
Yep.
They like hit you.
In the stripper community, they have floggers as like
Oh.
Yeah, I'm trying to give me one. They're not that cheap either, but they can be worn as pasties as well. My friend actually flogs her boyfriend, so she has one of those. Like I said, I'm gonna it sounds like it's a part of that same community. This is not a